still, the thoughts of you are sinking. Point stands, but I'm still overthinking. You know you don't really call me like you used to, but I know you try. And I've heard you've been here before, but I won't stay the same. It's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change. I know it's me and you, but I don't stay the same. I'm just adjusting to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to. Babe, I wanna know, is it heartfelt or maybe just a little? Cause you don't really see me like you used to, but you hold on to me cause all you do is settle. I've heard you've been here before. Stay the same, it's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change. I know it's me and you, but I don't stay the same. I'm just adjusted to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to. But I don't stay the same, it's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change. I know it's me and you, but I don't stay the same. I'm just adjusted to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to. If I stay still, the thoughts of you are sinking. Point stands, but I'm still overthinking. You know you don't really call me like you used to, but I know you try. And I've heard you've been here before, but I won't stay the same. It's just what I'm used to. Some things don't ever change. I know it's me and you, but I don't stay the same. I'm just adjusting to. Some things don't change, but I'm designed to be held on to.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the babe. I want to know, because we're going to find out what you do want to know. Happy 4/12.
Yay.
So we're here on a Friday. As promised, we're going to keep our Friday ones going as long as we can, even though we're in a little bit of a flux. As you can see, the studio's a little bit different today. Reason being is we're doing maintenance and moving stuff around. And we didn't have a lot of time to set up today.
No.
So
it's a short episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, shorter. We're going to try and keep it within an hour because we have some things we want to do. We'll get to that when it gets to a good thing. We'll tell you why we're cutting it a little short and not doing too many drinks tonight.
No shots.
No shots. Sorry. We'll
Seems
probably be next.
wrong.
We'll probably be next back on that next Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna try to. There's just some things going on, and we'll get to those things. But but first, how's Sarah doing? How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I can feel you're just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a little frustrated earlier, and it's gone downhill from there.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't know.
So we'll see what happens. Without the shots, we may never get through it.
Never know.
We'll get right to our sponsors. As always, Lever Consulting. Make sure to check out leverconsulting.com for an introductory consultation. Hit them up and mention Sarah and Scooter sent you there, and you get an introductory consultation. And who else we got?
We have Yaya's Embroidery, who does custom shirts and hats and bibs and everything really that you could think of.
Embroidery.
Embroidered or screen printed. And she's just the most fantastic-y person ever. And you can find her on Instagram under Yaya's Embroidery. And she's great. Oh, mention Sarah Scooter, you get 10% off.
10% off your whole order. Yeah, we did. I'm in the process of getting some shirts done with her right now.
I think she's posted a
for
special too, that if you are a reoccurring customer, if you're coming back, I think it was like 20% off the next order.
Look at
I
that.
saw it on Instagram.
So if you hurry up, order 10% off Sarah and Scooter, and then order a second thing for 20% off. What? I'll just do that.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense. So here we go. Do we have anything to give away? Are we doing a giveaway question this week?
I didn't make one.
Okay, so we're not doing a giveaway question. Sorry, guys. We do have some swag, though. We do have the hat. We still have the beanie. It's all the way over there. Should,
You want me to get one?
well, it's right there.
So yes.
Oh, do you want, I can get it.
I can get it. You didn't say yes or no. You just pointed. He's gonna go get one. Almost. It's real far. Struggles. Struggle bus is happening.
Yeah. Something.
Ah,
Something was happening.
yeah.
So yeah, we still have stickers with our little QR code, so you can get all of our links. We do have keychains we're giving away, all that type of thing. But of course, we are giving away the beanies. We already gave away 3, so we have 2 left. That's all we got.
They're pretty awesome, guys.
Yeah, they're really, really
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty cute.
Has a nerdy koala on it and everything.
A nerdy koala and the Time to Tabletop, kind of my logo for all the things that I do that I'm trying to save the world with.
Yeah.
It's not quite working out, but we're doing our best. Truth. Yeah. So we'll come up with the giveaway question by the end. Maybe we'll think about it.
I have a question, but I can't remember if I talked about it in the last episode.
I don't know. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So, yeah, we'll come up with the giveaway question.
All right. Good thing.
All right, you look like you have a ton, so go ahead.
But I don't want to take if you only have one.
I have 2,
Oh,
but I think
all right. Well,
yeah. Let's just look at it this way. I don't know what that means. Your first one.
the lease.
Oh, because I was like, got it. Okay. So let's just talk about that. The good thing and the reason we're having kind of a shorter episode today is because the last of the boxes, just within a couple hours ago, were moved over to Alyce and Ben's new apartment.
Yeah.
So Alyce has once again, second time, has left the house.
Yeah. Well, the first one didn't count. She was at college.
She still moved out.
No, she didn't. She just took a lot of her stuff.
She
didn't
took almost
move
all
out.
of it. Almost
This
all of
time
it.
she moved out.
Yeah, all the stuff's out over there. It's about 15, 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So nice little apartment. Her and Ben moved in there. They also today is what?
My baby turned 21. Oh, it's so sad.
She also turned 21 today.
Today.
So
What a day for her.
Did you send her a happy birthday in the middle of the night?
No.
Oh, I did.
No, I didn't.
It's the only thing I know to do.
I did not.
was enjoy your 21st. And she says, I will do my best. That's her response.
That sounds about right.
Not thank you, love you, miss you. I'll do my best.
That sounds like an order.
What?
Enjoy your 21st.
No, it wasn't like that. Come on now.
No, but she is officially 21. Her license has been flipped horizontally.
Horizontally. Yeah.
Which means you're 21 in California.
Cinematic mode.
Yeah. And we're taking her out for a drink today.
Hopefully.
After the show.
If she hasn't gone.
She hasn't crashed.
Yeah.
Like tired, not like in a car.
So yeah, right after the show, we're going to go take off and go to, I think we're going to a place called Rock and Soul, which we've been to before. I think we've talked about it on here before.
That's what was in the chat.
Because
That's the last thing I said.
Well, we try. We do try.
Yeah.
We'll get a phone call and then it'll get confusing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our mutual really good thing. So What do you got?
We had jazz night on Saturday and that turned out really well. It's our big like fundraising event for the band. And
Totally forgot about that.
turnout was decent. We had like 80-ish, 90-ish people there, which is good. I would love for more people on here to come visit us for next year's jazz night because it actually is really fun when you're like with people that you know and like, and you guys are like bidding against each other on stuff.
Yeah.
And the food's really good, and the bartenders are great, which is us.
It was us.
And it's just such a good cause, and it really is so much fun. And you could bring kids. There's all ages. It literally is the kids playing music and then auctions and then just conversation. But that turned out really well. So another successful fundraiser. We didn't make as much money as I had hoped, but
Did
we
you
made
get the
money.
numbers?
We have the rough numbers, yeah. But it was still a good event. 5 weeks left of school. Plus, as this is what CJ says, 5 weeks left of school plus finals. I said, so 6. He's like, no, it's 5 weeks plus finals. I said, all right. Whatever gets you through the end of the school year.
He still has some summer school to do. A couple, like 2 sessions.
I think.
Yeah. To catch up on some things. So that's really good. 5 weeks, that is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going to the benefit, the fundraiser, the jazz fundraiser. I ran into an old rolling buddy of mine.
Yeah.
Well, jiu-jitsu buddy of mine named Dana, and haven't seen him since we rolled together, and he isn't rolling anymore either.
Yeah.
So I think we've made kind of a pact. We're like, we have each other's numbers.
Old guys unite.
We need to get back on the mat together. We're getting older.
I told you I saw Dana last time there was an event there.
Yeah.
The last whatever we did
There was an event, not there.
at the school.
No, not the aquatic center. You said there.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's not. You had another event there? I didn't know about.
Yeah, you weren't invited.
What?
It was bingo.
What happens? Oh, I
I
won't
have a
go.
question for people if you're listening. Would you go, as younger people, would you go to a bingo fundraising event? Does that sound fun? Because in my head, it sounds like it'd be a blast. But then I'm thinking, maybe it's not. And people
But
who
I also
are
think
young don't want to do that.
You've never been young. You've never been that like the typical type of young,
What do you mean?
like going out to parties and clubs and.
But people in our chat, I don't think are that young. I'm talking about like
True, people that have money and can
20,
gamble.
30-ish. See, Valerie loves bingo.
She's your age.
But I've never been to bingo.
She's your age.
But these are the
You're
people
asking.
These are the people we want. This is when I say younger, I mean younger than Scooter. These are the
dang.
people that we want. Like from like 25 to 45. Because that's like the kids' parents-ish age.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that's what we want. I just want to know if it'd be a fun fundraiser to do. Because in my head, again, it sounds like it'd be so much fun. So I think we should do it.
It's not that fun for me to go play bingo. I've played bingo before, and I was
Does
like,
it stress you out or you just find it boring?
you sit in one spot and dab.
So you find it boring.
Yeah, it's like you're sitting in one spot and you're dabbing. That's literally
What if
all
there
you're
was
doing.
music?
Yeah, but you're not talking to anybody. You're not doing anything. You're just dabbing.
I think people seem to enjoy it.
That's just me though. I was like,
Yeah.
it's.
But that's why you have jazz night. Just
I
trying to find
enjoy.
an event
I
for people
enjoy jazz night.
who won't do jazz night, like and something else for people to do.
Yeah, but that's because jazz night's more of kind of a mingling thing.
People also like a casino night sounds fun. Hey, Christina. Hey, Keith. Oh, Keith said boring too. But Christina says it sounds fun. If you win some good stuff. I don't know. I still might do it. I've been talking about it for like a year now, and I just haven't figured out if it would be fun. But I guess we could just try and see what happens.
I don't know. It's like playing a Keno machine, and it's like
Yeah.
there's not a lot going on, but a smoking section and
Well, there's no
people that have
smoking.
a whole line of their
Dab.
dabbing pens and all their cards out, and they're yelling at people.
See, Keith said a casino night would sounds fun.
Casino's different. Casino would be really fun. Like, you have different things. You have
Yeah.
you have craps, you have roulette, you have
do this.
you
All right, I'm
you
writing
have
this down.
blackjack. Now that I would get on board, because as soon as you get bored with, you could still have bingo going on, right? But if you're getting tired of bingo, now what do?
Yeah.
You do nothing.
Right.
Now you're not spending any money.
Yeah.
You went from spending a bunch of money on bingo to nothing.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I go spin some roulette real quick, or
Yeah.
I'll play some craps, I'll throw some dice, maybe some blackjack, just some simple stuff.
Yeah. All right. Research going in. We need a casino night because I also think that'd be so
No,
fun.
I've done those. When realistically there was casino night we've done for churches back in the day.
It's funny.
Yeah. So
I almost made a
casino
joke there,
night.
but I'm gonna move on.
Good. What's that?
I almost made a joke, but I'm gonna move on.
Why? Just make the joke.
What was the wager? Bibles?
With the wager?
Yeah.
What do you mean the wager?
Did you wager cash?
No, you'd win a Bible. No, I have no idea.
Well, you did it.
It was a long time ago. Like, we're talking like 30 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what you win was a Bible?
Well, it was less than 30 years ago, but like 20 some years ago.
Holy Spirit.
You win the Holy Spirit?
I'm confused.
You're going to hell.
Not today. Probably.
No, it's the. No, you still. I mean, you won stuff. I think it was baked goods or something.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
I think it was like, have the those cake off. What are they called? Cake offs.
Yeah.
What are they called?
I mean, a
Cakewalk.
cakewalk.
That's not a cakewalk.
That's a thing.
I know, but that means it's a cakewalk. It means it's easy.
No,
It's
no,
a
no.
cakewalk.
I think that a cakewalk is a thing. Like everyone has like a row of cakes, and then you go and like you can buy pieces.
Right.
From people.
Well, not pieces, but you get the whole cake.
Oh.
And then there was also the one where you're like, it's kind of like musical chairs, that kind of thing. And then you pulled one out, and whoever's last standing won the big cake, that kind of thing. But then we did a casino thing too, to where you could do it that way.
Yeah. Christina said, "Can't believe your oldest is 21. What the freak, man, Christina? I know. We're getting kind of old.
Kinda. Catch up, suckers.
Kind of old.
My old is 30. Gonna
You're
be
heck old.
31.
So,
Holy smoke, she's gonna be 31 like soon.
yeah, May.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
gonna be 31 next month.
I know. All right, well, so for a
It's
good thing.
insane. Dana was the one.
Okay.
Realistically, and running into people that I was okay seeing.
Yeah.
I have to shout out is always going to be to the Bells for showing up.
Yeah. Back on
Sorry,
normal.
good thing.
Yeah.
It was a good thing to see them because to me it's like seeing normal people.
Man, I've said this before and I will say it again. If you've never been able to hang out with my sister outside of work stuff, you should totally do it. She's very funny. And when she gets with her husband, it gets even better. Did we talk about this last week? No, we couldn't have.
We can't
Why?
about the kid and the
We don't have to. I wasn't going to say that.
Oh.
There was a moment at the fundraiser where
Ooh.
there was music happening, and it was interesting. It was an interesting song choice, and we all look at each other with really big eyes because we can't hide our facial expressions. But my brother-in-law hit his the worst, and my sister looked at him and she couldn't hold it in, and she laughed so hard on the inside because she couldn't laugh on the outside. She started crying and had to leave the room because it was so moving. That music.
It was moving.
It was
moving.
moving.
Just go moving.
My kids have it recorded if anybody wants to know.
Maybe that should be a topic that we should talk about.
Oh man, I'll send it out if you have an iPhone, so you guys can feel moved also with that piece of music.
Yeah. Yeah, just it's not gonna be the next American Idol. Maybe with some training.
That was great.
Maybe with some training.
My last good thing this week, I went 2 times this week to kickboxing.
Nice.
The first time I thought I was gonna die. because nobody else showed up. It was just me and the coach, and she's scary. So at the end, she asked if I just wanted to stretch instead of finishing the exercise, and I said yes, please, because I thought I wasn't gonna make it. But then I went back on Wednesday, and 2 other people who I used to work out with before were there, and I was like, "Oh man, this is so nice," and it felt nice. It felt nice to hit things again and kick things. Well, people, because we just kick each other, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just holding pads?
Yeah.
That's
we just
really
hold pads
That's
with
actually really fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy that
We
stuff.
still had to work out and stuff. And I learned that because I haven't been there in multiple years at this point. Reverse lunges with a weight held by your feet? Holy crap. If you haven't done that in a while, you realize it's real hard.
Or if you've never done it ever.
I don't remember it being that hard, but I was like, why aren't my legs off the ground? Like, why can I not counterbalance myself and keep myself up and do this? It was a struggle bus for sure. But it was nice to be out there. And I went running today. Scooter didn't like that. But
I didn't like that she went running.
He doesn't want me to run because
That's
I
not-
injure myself every time I run.
She has a history of her hip has a lot of problems when she goes running.
Yeah.
And she goes to chiropractor, and
They take a
they
break.
tell her stop running.
For a while
Okay.
it fixes itself.
And then you go out there and you overdo it again.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
But
and
I started slow this time.
I know, but I just have to say, in 10 years, you've probably done it, 7 times?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, so
I like running.
well, I understand that. But,
So fun.
okay.
It's so freeing to run.
It's just a lot. So, yeah, I ended up working out, once yesterday? Well, I'm not even wearing my stuff.
Oh, yeah.
My watch or nothing.
Sad.
Well, I rushed to take a shower before this because we got to go right after this.
Yeah, we'll take a shower after. I got it.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So that
Those
was
are all my good things.
yeah, those were the good things. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all of them.
I had
Oh
5.
no.
Advise me not.
So I don't know if we have a topic. I sat down with a blank piece of paper because I literally set up this thing, moved a bunch of boxes, not a bunch of boxes, but moved some stuff, and then hopped in the shower, left, moved boxes, came back, took a shower, sat down.
Here we are.
Yeah.
I went to Costco for like an hour and a half
Yeah.
with Ben and Alyce.
You were gone for a minute.
Yeah. I come back, switch cars. The first car was too small. Had to go with the bigger car.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
So,
So you had a saying that we were going to discuss.
oh. Has to do with, I mean, there was something, I've been getting I watch comedy podcasts, but I also watch like ones that are with comedians that talk about real stuff. And there was one that Rainn Wilson has just started. He only has 1 episode with Glassman. What's his first name? Rick? Oh, shoot.
Paul.
Yeah, it was Rick.
Oh. Just guessing.
Yeah, Rick Glassman, which he already has his own podcast and stuff. But it's Rainn Wilson's first one. And they talk about a lot of things. It's most has to do with like your spiritual journey and that kind of stuff. And it's actually pretty fun and pretty entertaining. They talked about quite a bit of like people that are neurodivergent, autism, mental illness, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get into that because I'm not any expert on that. We may pick a topic at one point to talk about it, but we'll see. But what was the statement?
That didn't feel good. What's the intent? That's what I wrote down. I don't know if that's right or not.
Okay. So it comes down to the point of not being able to read like social cues and those types of things. Cause it really resonated with me. This whole, what he was dealing with as growing up, like masking. They call it masking. It's basically when you think somebody likes you, you know, because, you know, they're reacting to you and all those types of things, but you can't read social cues very well. And that's when I get a nudge in the arm when I can't read social cues.
Right.
I'm not getting them. So you'll nudge me and I'm like, got it. I'm not reading that one well.
Yeah.
But I'm really good at it these days comparatively to when I was growing up because I had no idea when it comes to social cues. So this is like having a conversation with you and us having a conversation and like a somber look on your face or a stoic look on your face. I sometimes I need to know what's going on. Otherwise, I don't know if you're hearing me. Right? I think we discussed that, talked about it a little bit. But it's also when I say, well, wow, that's a lot of food on your plate.
Yeah.
Right? Like you sit down to dinner and say, wow, that's a lot of food on your plate.
Like, why you call me fat?
But no, it's like if it actually, like if you're having some of those things like, wow, I was feeling pretty good about myself. I'm already feeling like, maybe I am a little overweight.
Yeah.
You could say, what's the statement?
Oh,
Pointing
that didn't feel good. What's the intent?
Yes.
I don't think I would ever say that.
Okay.
I know, not those words.
I understand that. I'm not, but this isn't about just you and me. This is
Right.
about everybody. Like you and I don't have just those conversations, but
Yeah.
why wouldn't you say that?
I don't know.
If I said something and it was like offensive to you
Yeah.
or you got offended by it, why couldn't we say, that stung, that hurt a little bit, that got me? It's like,
That's
what was
true.
your intention and what was your intentionality? What was your intent?
Yeah. I guess
What
we,
did you mean
we
by
end up
that?
saying, what's the point of that?
Or, you say-
Or
yeah, that's what you
yeah,
say. Or
what's the point of that?
which is
Or
the other person is
stop
like,
using words.
now the other person's going, okay, well that stung. What the heck did you mean by that? So that was kind of the conversation I want to get at, was like understanding the other person's intent instead of assuming what the other person's intent is.
Yeah. It's oddly enough, I think it's easier to ask somebody their intent when you don't know them super well. Because
Right.
I feel like when you're with somebody, it's like your best friend or like your partner, when they say something, especially when you've been together for a long time, sometimes you're like, I know your freaking intent, and it was to be a dick. And that's annoying. But then they might come back and be like, well, that wasn't my intent. And you're like, yes, it was. It's weird, but it's so much harder to give your partner, like if somebody you've known a long time, when you've known them really
Right.
well, the benefit of the doubt of being like, I know I could see your intent, but also being like, you shouldn't say that because you actually don't know their intent. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense.
We have those moments.
Well, we had it today. We have it pretty much every day.
It's daily.
I think so, because sometimes I don't understand your intent
Yeah.
when you just literally stop talking to me.
But you do.
I don't know your intent.
You just know I'm upset.
I don't know that. Sometimes you're not upset. You're just working a lot,
That's true.
or you're focused on something. So when you shut down and stop talking to me, are you upset with me? Are you busy? Are you working on something? Are you dealing with something? I don't know. Because, without you telling me, how would I know?
I think when you ask, the only time that I don't respond of what's actually in my head
When you're
is
mad.
when I'm mad.
Yeah, which is today.
I was annoyed.
Well, okay.
But I think that's
Sorry.
the only intent. Just kidding. I think that's the only time. Because otherwise, I'm just like, no, it's a crap day, and I don't want to talk about it, and we're moving on. You're like, are you sure? I'm positive. I got 0 things to say about today. But if I'm mad, I'm just like, it's fine.
But I think
I'll get over this.
I
It's
think
fine.
that's what we're coming down to, is like we need to find a way to let the steam out a little bit before it blows up.
I think, again, this is just us, but eventually it comes out. It just takes me like 4 hours. And you want to be like, right now, I need to know what's going on with you, and why aren't you telling me what's going on? Because now I can't fix it. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm still getting to the point where I can put things together to tell you how I'm feeling in this moment.
Right. And I can say that with us, but my experience has been over the years is I used to like swallow everything.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Pause. Yeah.
Funny. Anything and everything for the right price. But I really would. I was like, all my emotions, all my sadness, all my pain, everything, that I would just kind of swallow it, suck it up, and then move on.
Yeah.
And then I'd end up beating the crap out of another kid in school or something,
Yeah.
because it was like, all this is pent up.
Yeah.
Or I'd scream at yelling somebody, or I'd get in a fight, or
He's talking as a child, not as an adult, by the way.
young adult, I guess.
Just saying you're not now going into school beating up children.
Gosh,
That's what I meant.
Well, these kids around here, some days Sometimes I do feel like it.
They're big.
But no, realistically, like that's what ends up happening is
Yeah.
then I blow up. And I'm like, I can't take it down. I can't take it anymore. So I'll either shut down, start hurt people,
Right.
you know, I'll do that. But that's after I've been shoving it down for a while is when
Yeah.
I'm finally like, I'm done. I'm done being, you know, acting like everything's okay and trying to be nice. And then finally I was like, you know, F you. You know, if you're not going to be nice to me and going to be selfish, then go move on.
Yeah.
Get out of my face. So I don't want to get it to that point because I used to be like that a lot. I have shorter stints of that so that I don't explode.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And I know that you've had some moments like that. And I know a lot of people that have some moments like that. You shove it down, shove it down, shove it down, shove it down, and then crush. You're crushed.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're mad or whatever. It could be a whole nother emotion. Could be depression. Could
Right.
be frustration. It just consumes you.
Yeah.
And I don't like seeing that happen.
That's fair. Valerie said, at the same time, you have the right to be left alone for a bit.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But I think if you don't say that,
Like, I need a minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't say that, then how would somebody, because if you actually need help, if a person needs help, do they ask?
Depends on what the help is.
Yeah, and it depends on if they need it. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to ask for help. So they usually have somebody there that will say, "Hey, are you okay?" And they go, "Yeah, I'm fine." Are you really? You know, we're here to help. If you like us, you just got to ask.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just saw the dumbest show I've ever watched, but we just saw that.
Show.
It was some stupid 911 thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like everybody, when somebody says, "I'm fine, leave me alone, I'll be fine," that's not always true.
Yeah.
People don't always say what they mean. So, yes, you have the right to be left alone for a bit, for sure. Like, I just need to be left alone for a bit.
Yeah.
But if somebody really knows you and they say that, maybe they're actually crying out for help
Right.
because we're not comfortable enough with expressing our emotions, and that's why suicide rates are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Because people are going, "No, I'm fine. I just need some time alone." So people just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're gone. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I just don't. I would rather somebody prod at me than leave me alone to my own thoughts and those types, because it's just going to get worse because you don't know what that person's dealing with.
I'm going to say no to what you said. I think it depends
Yes,
on what they're prodding about.
true. No, that's so true.
Because if it's like, if we know that you're over here and you've been listening to the same song for 47 times in a row and watching the music video over and over, that's when we know it's time to prod about, how's it going? But if you're mad about something, that's not the time to prod to ask what you're mad about.
True.
That's the worst time ever.
True. But I think that we're talking about everything,
Yeah.
like encompassing all of it.
It's hard because it's so situational.
Yeah, it's always situational, and it's finding somebody that you trust,
Yeah.
and finding something you trust that's going to tough love you through it, or soft love.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Also, I feel like as we get older, it's so much easier to be like, what are you trying to say? I would.
You think
The amount of times I feel, I mean, and maybe not in that tone.
with
and
us
even
it is, but
those
not
words.
most people. It's still not.
I bet you it is.
It's not.
I just feel like people would, like, you know, they always say old people can say whatever they want. I feel like that's what it is. They get to a point where they're just like, F it, who cares? I'm going to say whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm saying. So they get to a point of like, what do you actually mean by that?
Or sometimes they just like, I'm stopped asking. I think that becomes that to me, that's the old generation. It's like, I'm not even going to ask anymore because all I know is I'm going to get pushed back and becomes a discussion, and I don't want that crap. So I'll just shut up and take it.
I don't know what old generation you know. All my old people are forceful.
Well, you seem to be the gravitational pull of people that are older that are whiny as hell.
Who? I only have one.
I think you've parted ways with a lot of
Did I?
them, just situationally, but I'm just saying, all the people that you always walked with and hung out with, those like they never came. The people that you've kind of parted the ways with, I never saw them come to you and say, "How's Sarah doing?"
That's fair.
Because I don't.
No, there's only one who didn't.
But I'm saying most of the people that I know that you were work friends with,
Yeah.
wouldn't come up to you and ask you how you were doing. Not just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Not just that, but like really want to know, how's the kids, which is all so surface level. But yet they're going to dump all their stuff on you and you got to take it.
I think there's two, but I think everybody else is pretty good. I mean, the ones that I still talk with, like my walking buddies that I still hang out with, they still ask how I'm doing.
That's literally what I just said.
There's only two.
There's only, okay.
That's bad.
What I was saying was all the people that you have separated ways with, you're proving my point. There's only two left. I was like, yes, but there was more than two at one point.
No, there's only two that I don't have connections with anymore. That's all I'm saying. Anywho.
Okay.
Yes.
So, delusions of grandeur. We're getting there.
Nah.
I know. It's
We're
like,
not.
I try and accept, some of the things that you tell me about me, and then I try to work on them, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Christina said, I feel like I can say whatever I want now, but it's different with saying whatever I want to my husband. I have to be conscious and aware of my words with him. I mean, yes, I agree with that because, again, that's the person you're with like every single day. That's the most important relationship you have. Now, you want to be able to be open and say all the things, right? But you still are like, I don't want to dump on you every time I see you. And when I'm mad at somebody, I may want to vent and say all these things. But this relationship that I want forever. So just because I think things in my head as may say them out loud, that'd be awful. That would be terrible.
Yeah, you have a Rebecca.
Yeah. So I'm like, Becca, you can't say that. She's gotten better. I'm like, sometimes you can't say those things out loud.
No, I'm saying you have a Rebecca you guys can do all that stuff
Bounce.
to each other.
Say what we're thinking about our partners.
Well, not just a partner, your
Life.
partner, just life in general. And there's like, and then, yeah.
Because sometimes, I mean, I'll tell you stuff that's going on, but I'm like, I can't always tell you how you're acting and being. It takes me a minute to be like, don't say those words because they're not nice. Like, find the nicer version of what you're saying that he's doing and then say those words. Don't say the first thing that comes to your head.
But sometimes I don't want to be nice. Like, my intention, there are some times with certain people, is like, my intention is not to be nice. Like, this is the 20th time I've had this conversation with you. It's time for me not to be nice.
Right.
Like, I mean, you have let me down 20 times. You've let everybody else down. And I'm not talking about kids, guys. Right. This is got nothing to do with kids. This is other people that we work with, other people in the community that we do fundraising with, all those people. It's like, I'm done being nice with you.
Yeah.
Because I've given you all the chances that I can, and now you're still doing this. You're still wasting people's time, their money, their resources, and still having some sort of excuse about it. And I'm like, no, I'm not being nice anymore.
You had an interesting conversation at an event recently with somebody, and I would have loved if that person would have been like, that wasn't nice. What was your intent? Because I think you would have been like, my intent was you stole something.
My intent was you're not listening to me. We gave you a certain amount of these things to take care of, and you consumed half of them and brought only half of them back this year. That was my intent, but you weren't listening.
But do you think that's helpful? I mean, asking somebody who don't have that relationship with, is it important to know what their intent is? If someone says something that truly irritates you and annoys you, and you're like, I'm never going to really have to deal with you in any other situation again. Do you care?
No, you shouldn't care. Because at that point, you're like, you don't care. But if you have to see that person again, you have to do something transactional with them in the future. You still work in the same community as them. You need to know what the intent is.
Yeah.
Because those are the kind of things is like, what was their intent by coming up and being so forceful?
Right.
About what I was doing that you didn't volunteer to do, and being forceful about what I should be doing in my station. I'm like, who are you? Like, you have no clue what's going on. You suck at everything that you do. And I've told, I mean, not in
Not in those
the
words.
best ways, but I have. I was like, you volunteered for this last year and didn't show up.
Yeah.
So, and yet you want to have a conversation with me about something that you brought that we wanted to make sure and put on the table, even though you only brought half of it because you consumed the other half. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know? So,
I don't know. It's so again, it's so hard. But like sometimes we have that issue with even people who work under us where and it's not that they're saying something that's rude or disrespectful. It just feels off. You know, it just feels a little off and not okay. And sometimes we just want to be like, so what were you trying to say? Like,
right.
what were you trying to get across when you said that you did this and you didn't? What was the goal here? What were you hoping would happen? But I'm not a big fan of confrontation. I mean, you know this. I actually don't like confronting people about stuff.
But
I'm not even a good keyboard warrior. I can't even do that well.
But you're a business owner, so you have to be.
I know.
No, you have to be.
I know.
If you're not good at confrontation, you cannot run a business.
I'm getting way better at it.
Just saying you can't.
I mean, I confront people all the time at this point.
Yeah,
and
but
like,
you just
wrong.
And I feel like I've mentioned this before. Is confrontation is not a bad word.
Right.
It's conflict, different, but not. That's still not a fight. We have a confliction we have a conflict of something. Conflict in a schedule, is that a bad thing? No, you figure it out.
Yeah.
But it also the confrontation, I think it's essential. Like if something's not working right and you don't confront the situation or confront the person, how can you ever expect it to change?
I know.
Instead of going, well, they should just know. Well, obviously they don't.
Yeah.
Or they do and they're getting away with it and you're not confronting them with it. You're not holding them accountable to it. And I think that's what he was like, if somebody's intent is to make a little bit more money without you knowing about it,
right,
or that kind of thing, it's like, well, that's not good. I need to know what that intent is.
Yeah.
The same thing. I mean, we've seen the emails and messages that sometimes go through and you go, wow, that person sounds angry.
Right.
But maybe they're just getting to the point.
Yeah.
Were they angry or they were just getting to the point?
Because Becca has that issue. People are like,
right,
why is she so mad? I was like, what did she say? I mean, I read the email.
She goes, yes, get that done, please. Or
not even please.
Yes,
get that done.
Yes, get that done.
It's due on Friday.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like when somebody says, hey, when is this due? It's due on Friday. Or it was due yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that to me, that's blunt.
Yeah.
But and that's I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm okay with it because not because of knowing Rebecca. It has to do with I know people's intent.
Right.
Now, if they said, I already told you it was due on Friday, okay. Now they're getting a little aggressive.
If they say, scroll up.
Which I have said that before. I said, I'll go per previous email, the one right before. But I just what's the intent? And my intent when I'm saying those kind of things is, yes, to be a little brass, but I'm also, why are you wasting my time?
Yeah.
When you, first of all, you're late. Second of all, you didn't get the job done.
Right.
And now you're asking me to sit down with you and hold your hand because you can't look at a previous email or scroll up.
Yeah.
I was like, so who's doing the job now?
Right.
You or me?
Yeah. I could have just done it at this point.
By this point, I could have just done it.
Christine also says, I think some people take advantage of those that don't like confrontation.
That's true.
Man, it's so true. And I think that's the hardest part is that when you're like, hey, and I've done this multiple times, but I'm like, hey, if it's more than this, you have to tell us why. And they're like, okay. And they do it again. And I'm like I said last time, if it's more than this, you have to tell us why. And they're like, got it. They do it again. I'm like, we're not paying you for this. I've already told you that you have to tell me why, and you haven't. We're done.
But you gotta set those boundaries.
I know, and it probably shouldn't take me till the third time. But I'm just like, I'm not. Stop being mean.
Well, I'm just saying, at some level, there's a difference between liking confrontation and just having to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, none of us like getting up and going to work, but you got to do it, right? I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah.
It's the way it is.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay PG&E or doesn't want to pay their gas bill, their water bill. But guess what? We got to do it.
Right.
And right now, if they overbilled you, would you say something? Or do you just, since you don't like confrontation, you're like, oh, just pay it.
Well, I did say something and they said, that's what it is. And I said, okay.
But again, think about that. I was like, if you don't like confrontation, then if you don't like confrontation and you don't, get yourself up and just do it, then you become a mat.
Oh, you get hosed every time. I know.
But you're not like that as much as you.
No, I've gotten so much better. I used to be way worse. I would just be like, well, I guess that is a $600 bill I have to pay. What's it for? They didn't really say. It just said I owed it, so I just paid it.
That's bad, but it's been an uptick in this whole area.
Yeah.
Something's going on that's insane.
Ooh, Valerie said, let her be our quality assurance manager. I'll get him for you. Valerie, man, I would love it because the amount of people I just want to be like, no, there's no way that this took you that long.
I mean,
ugh.
Let me in there if you want, because
everybody would quit. You can't be you and Becca.
Yeah.
Nobody would work for us.
You can't have me and Rebecca in there. Because I see it verbatim.
Yeah.
I see it every time because I look at everything that
Yeah.
in one carrier. I look at in her business. I look at one, moves over to one area, then moves back, and I see both.
Yeah.
I do both, and go.
That doesn't seem right.
Why is this one 6 hours, and this one 2? They're pretty much the same.
Yeah. It's fun times.
So I see them very closely.
Yeah.
So yeah, you couldn't have me and Rebecca and I monitoring the same people.
You know what? Also, that statement of what's the intent. Why is it so hard with I mean, again, some people have like really close relationships with their parents, so maybe it's not hard. But I find it very hard. Like if my dad said something that I felt like was like out of pocket, I would never be like, "What did you mean by that?" I'd be like, "Okay, I'll just take that with me to my therapist."
But right, but I think there's a good animation. It's like a comic deal, and it's just like one old guy yelling at a younger guy, and then that younger guy not talking to the next person, and that person, talking a little bit better to the next generation, and this other one saying, "I'm proud of you."
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like it's that we can't go backwards, and so I think that's that same concept. I was like, I wouldn't say that to my dad.
Yeah.
Because I just would get excuses and reasons and,
But we want our kids to be able, like, strong enough to say it to us.
Well, my older daughters do.
Yeah. But now they do. I don't think they would have.
That's true.
When they were younger.
That is true.
Maybe Ariel.
Ariel always did. Ariel's just like, what do you mean by that? I think but she has a daughter that's just like that.
Yeah.
But I would say, I think that's my older daughters. They would definitely say, oh, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And I think even the closest one in this house is probably CJ.
Yeah.
He'd probably be the first one with me to go, what do you mean by that?
I mean, all the kids have asked me, what did Scooter mean by that? They've asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. Ask him.
I think CJ would be the first to kind of ask, because I think he's finding, I think the tough love that I had for him, he's realizing some of the benefits of it just now at 16, which is earlier than the other two.
Yeah.
But really, he's kind of going, oh, I don't really feel good about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Valerie said too, I wouldn't say, what did you mean by that, Dad? But I would have no problem questioning him. That's because you guys are close.
But that's not just close. I think that's also a generation. It's people fixing the generations.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I was like, I don't know how close he is with his dad that way. You know, what?
Yeah.
Was those types of things.
Yeah.
I just don't know. But as generations, it kind of does a pendulum swing, and you're hoping it's swinging to the other side.
Yeah.
Not too far, because then we end up
Disney kids. the way kids on TV would talk to their parents when our kids in the house were growing up, I was like, don't you ever talk to me that way.
I
Lost
mean,
their mind on that
there's a
show.
little bit of, I'm going to let you vent that. You can get that, but you're never getting away with that again.
Right.
And I think feel like if we do too much correction when it comes to those kind of things, like when we speaking up to our parents, we end up having that speaking down to our kids going, I'm so proud of you. You can do anything. And then we end up with people thinking they actually can do anything and they're not good at it.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
can do anything. Doesn't mean you're gonna be good at everything.
Right. You still gotta put in the work.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Facts. All right, that was good. I liked it.
That was it?
That's
That's
all
all
I
you got? I talk way more than you.
I don't think so.
That's pretty normal.
I think it's pretty fair.
So, there was one other thing.
Okay, what you got?
Let's see.
And in case you guys also don't know this, because CJ tries to give us like things to talk about on here, and he was like, at some point you need to talk about how this is the last. And I was like, I know CJ, because every time he does something at this point, I'm like, CJ, but you're the last one. You're the last kid to do this. This is your last blah blah blah. He's like, I know. I was like, you have another year of me telling you it's your last. I don't know what to tell you. The tears rolling down my face.
Yeah, I mean, with him he's going to get more of the only child.
Yeah.
He really is getting more. He has gotten it probably for this last almost year.
Yeah.
Almost last year.
He's not enjoying it.
Because, I mean, Mariah was always very active even in her senior
Yeah.
year, and he wasn't always there.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, he's usually the only person here. Even when Alyce is here, she's not really here.
Not hanging out, yeah.
Yeah. So what was it? It was from that same podcast. It was kind of like, and I'll just put it because we have discussed this before. We can tip on it before. But they kind of discussed it, but I kind of rolled it into two sentences. The way I interpreted it. And I said, and I'll say our past trauma, abuse, etc., may be a reason why we act a certain way. But at what point does it become an excuse?
Yeah.
Because, and they were talking about autism, mental illness, which I totally understand. But I do know at least two people, that have been banned from places and have restraining orders and those types of things against them because of some actions that they've taken in public places. So they're like, you can't go to this place, you can't do those things. And their excuse is, oh, I'm sorry. And they've done it 3 or 4 times. Well, I have autism. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean you can commit a crime.
Right.
Right. I was like, and they're stating it to me, so I'm like, so,
Right.
And so I just went, I was like, I'm not going to get too deep into that because, but it was me thinking like everybody's gone through, I think we were talking about this the other night. Everybody has gone through some sort of trauma, whether you've seen somebody killed in front of you.
Yeah.
You've seen a building crush 1,000 people, or you have had a parent leave you.
Yep.
Or you've had a boyfriend or girlfriend that was really, really mean to you.
Yep.
I mean, there's all the way from different levels, right? But that trauma is still real for you. At what point in your life do you stop using it as a reason? Because the reason, right? You're getting to the heart of like, hey, I act like this. And even if you don't know the reason, you're doing it, but you know that it's not the right thing to do. But then you go, well, I was abused as a kid. I was like, so you can go ahead and abuse someone else then?
Right.
That's an excuse. That's not a good excuse. It might be a reason why you have those tendencies.
Right.
But if you're not dealing with those things, then you're not a functioning person in this society.
Yeah. I mean, it baffles my mind to see adults who are like, would bring up something from like a very young age to the point where I'm just like, has nobody ever recommended that you get help? Like, ever? Has nobody ever thought? And if you have, how can you, and don't get me wrong, there's some crazy, crazy things that have happened to people. But how do you move on with life, and how do you make yourself a better life if you keep being like, but this is the reason why I'm this way?
Right.
Because at some point you have to be like, I'm just going to let that affect me, and I'm going to let that change my entire life. Or you can be like, I'm not going to let it affect me and change my entire life. There was a lady that I used to work with, and she was in her 50s. And the day she graduated high school, she got a job as an office assistant for the state. And never, from the age of 18 to the age of 55 when she retired, she never wanted to be anything else. Like, never tried, never took any tests, never tried to promote. I think, no, I shouldn't say. She went from like a typing person, clerical person, because that used to call like a typist when she started at 18. And by the time she was done, she was an office technician. So it wasn't that much of a leap. They just changed the job title, basically. So for 30-something years, right? 30-something years, she didn't change and didn't want to be anything else because she said when her family moved her out of LA, she was supposed to be a model. And she couldn't let go of the thought that that changed her entire life. And she, like, her dad would call her to ask how things were going. And she was also drunk at work almost every single day, which wasn't helping anything. But she would also be like, I should have been more than this, but my dad moved me out of LA, and so this is all I could be. And I was like, I'm not sure it's your dad's fault anymore, honestly. Your dad's not making you come to work, like, hammered every single day. Your dad didn't make you choose to take this office position and never leave this area. Like, at what point you have to be like, man, that sucked that we moved. Also, she was like 5'1". She wasn't going to be a model, let's be real. But also, I'm like, at what point were you going to be like, I probably need to do something else with my life? And it's not, that moving wasn't the thing that put my life where it's at right now. I'm the reason my life is where it's at right now.
Right. And it's also, I look at it this way, as like, if you know you have these tendencies, you're starting to recognize them because somebody has told you, and those types of things. Are you going to somebody that can help you? I think that's our biggest advocate is like, go talk to somebody that can help you.
Yeah.
Like, if you're part of a church, go to the leadership. If you have a therapist, if you have insurance, find out how to get the therapist that copes with those certain things.
Yeah.
But if you're going to your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your kids or your mom,
right,
or your sister or your wife, your husband, that is a huge burden to put on that person
with no training to do with what
putting
you're saying.
you're putting that burden on somebody else. Because there are multiple people that I've touched, like, hey, I know that you deal with those kind of things, and we touch base every once in a while. So who are you talking to? Anyone? We're like, well, I'm talking to my boyfriend about it. And I'm like, well,
you need more.
Well, I'm just saying that's going to give him trauma, or they're your partner trauma. Now they're now taking care of you, and that's not how that you're repeating the cycle over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I look at it as like, it's hard to do. It's so hard to do. But the only person that can be responsible for you is you.
Yeah.
That's it.
All day.
Because Christina was saying the victim mindset is something I can relate to.
I can't.
Put your big girl or big panties on.
Yeah. Big girl or big boy panties on.
Well, big girl or big boy panties on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't either. When somebody is like, it's never me. It's always somebody else. All this is happening to me, not because of anything I'm doing, because I'm so perfect and I've made all the right decisions. It just keeps happening to me. I'm like, when everything quote unquote bad is happening to you, it's probably you.
It's you. I mean, realistically, you have to. I mean, I've said this so many times. It's like if you're in a relationship and it's not going well, and you're putting all the blame on the other person, and I don't mean husband, wife. I can mean brother, sister. I can say dad, kid, whatever. Relationship, any relationship, work relationship, doesn't matter. Put it across the board. If it's not working out, some even if it's 1%, there's a percent of it that you're part of, that you're creating. And who knows, if you're the 5% problem and you correct that 5%, it could clean up the whole thing.
Right.
Because that might have been the one little thing that was really ticking off that person. The whole time, that's that thing they hated about you and never told you about. Right? So that could be the whole deal there. That's why you're getting all that pushback and all those types of things. I have depression for sure. I don't just get depressed. I have depression, diagnosed many years ago. So I can't play the victim, right? I have to just keep going, right? And I know that that kids or whatever in a relationship can pull up their, I don't like saying panties too much, but big
Britches.
girl or britches,
I say
big,
britches.
that's worse. Undies. I know that I've personally seen it. I know a couple people that have gone through a really crappy childhood. And the reason I know is because I'm their dad. So I know how bad it is. And shout out to some people out there. Ariel and Bailey have really pulled it together emotionally. I mean, of course they go through all the other things that parents are going through because they're parents too and those things, but it's rough out there.
Yeah.
So she just popped that
I know.
in.
She said, I think you can definitely be triggered by things that bring up your trauma, but you should never allow it to make you the victim. I usually call people out right away. Oh, I can't do it.
You can't.
I'm just like, that's the hardest part is too, I don't use a lot of words, but my face says a lot. When people start going victim-y, like I'm like, oh my God, everything's happening to me and I can't believe they would do this to me and blah, blah. I'm just like, ugh. And then I turn around.
Yeah. We're not heartless people, for goodness sakes.
No.
If you know us personally, I think everybody in the chat right now or that listens to this as does know us personally or is getting to know us personally. And we're getting better. I mean, we're trying harder, I guess. And I think not the last thing, but it was kind of encompass this. Where was it? If you don't do it, who else will?
Yep.
So if not you, then who? If not now, then when?
Yeah.
And I think if you're getting into that victim-y kind of ask yourself those things.
Right.
Like, if you don't do it for yourself, who's going to do it?
Yeah.
And if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it?
Yep.
You're just going to keep repeating that cycle.
Yep.
What we were watching, it was like reading the same book over and over, think it's going to end differently.
Facts. Yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're reading the same book over and over. Like, oh, they're doing this to me. And oh, I was like, you're writing this book.
Yeah.
You already wrote it. And now you're just reading the cliff notes and it's going to end the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm a procrastinator too. I mean, we're procrastinators, but I don't, when it comes to I think that's why when I have an emotion, I'm going to tell you now.
Yeah.
Because I can't hold it in. Because then I have resentment. I get upset with myself. My stomach hurts. I dwell on it. But if I can give it to you and go, hey, this is what's up. And then I get the blowback or oh, that makes sense. Whatever happens.
Yeah.
I can get through it. But if I bottle that baby up, that's who I am right now.
Man, I'm not there yet, obviously, because I try. I mean, I think I've gotten better that if someone's like, especially if you say something that really annoys me, because really, who else do I talk to? If you say something that really annoys me, or the kids say something that really annoy me, I'm just like, all right, no, we're not doing that, obviously. Watch what you just said to me. But it is really hard because I don't have a ton of relationships with people where I'm like, if you said something to me, I would just stop talking to you. I don't need that actually in my life.
And I think we're as you get more emotionally protective. I don't mean protective or secure. I wouldn't say emotional because I'm not any more emotionally secure than I was many years ago.
Yeah.
But when I get more emotionally and mentally protective of like, I know this isn't good for me and this person in my life is just not good for me, then I'm not going to have that person in my life because it's going to make me unhealthy.
You get mean first and then you say we're done.
I don't think sometimes I just stop talking.
Kind of. But there's like a mountain.
I'm not talking about you.
No, I know, not me. Because we still talk. I'm talking about people who you've cut off before. But it goes like, hey, it's like conversation. I didn't like that. Stop doing that. I already said no. F off. I don't talk to them anymore.
Well, it's like, I mean, how many times I'm going to say you start off going, hey, I didn't like that. What was your intention?
Yeah.
And then it goes into, hey, can you please stop doing that?
Right.
Then, hey, stop doing that or I'm out.
Right.
And the next part is, you're a dick. I'm done.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's 5 chances I feel. Was it? I didn't count. But I mean, normally it's more than 3.
Yeah, but you do use use your words. Use your words well. Yeah.
Because I want people to know there's like, that is not okay.
Yeah.
That you're treating me like that. And I'm going to defend myself.
I don't think anybody knows you and doesn't know how you feel about them.
Right.
Like anybody.
If they don't know me or they have known me and they don't know how I feel about them, that's because I don't want you in my life.
Yeah.
I just don't. You're not in my bubble.
Yeah. Good or bad, people know.
If you still have my number and you get a text from me every once in a while, we're good.
Yeah. I agree. All right, well, you ready?
Yeah.
I can take a shower.
But that's what we're going. We're cutting a little bit short. We're not going to do our games tonight. Sorry. Maybe we'll do something on Monday. Just pay attention. We have changed the schedule a little bit. This is a little bit more shorter, a little shorter. We're going to do more, just give you a heads up. Advise Me Not and Good Thing is going to be on Fridays.
Yes.
And then probably more games. That's what we're trying to do. So we can have more advice, like this intense conversation, because we enjoy that stuff, but we also don't want to be on here for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then we also want to play games. So that's going to be our normal Friday night. On Mondays, we're going to check in with you. We did already this week at 8. So if you want to check back there, it has all the what's up in your areas. So you'll get to check that out. And it has some shout outs of some people that I feel that are pretty important.
I have 3 comments in the chat I have to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. No, there was only 2 I saw.
Oh, Christina, I missed hers earlier.
Oh.
So Christina said, bye, Christina. She said, I can't wrap my head around you almost being an empty nester while I'm going to be barely starting.
Oh,
man, I know, we're heck old. Well, I am. John said, I think we need some words from the great Zach De La Rocha. How long? Not long, because what you reap is what you sow. And it has to start somewhere. It has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better place than now? Agreed. Oh, and Bland's neat. I know. Whiskey sounds so good today.
No, it's so true. It's but let's leave people with that.
Okay.
Oh, what is? Yeah, we're gonna have drinks later tonight. Sorry, we're not gonna do it on stream. We're gonna take our
Lacey.
20. She turned 21 today. So we're gonna take her out for some dinner and some drinks tonight.
Nice.
Her and her boyfriend. So, if not you, then who? If not now, then when?
That's
Right?
it. That's all we got.
That's it, and that's all.
That's all.
We will see you very soon. Maybe in person.
And I loved it.